It's been a rough few years, a pandemic, snap recession, now an inflation crisis. In times like this, we need somebody looking out for us, putting our interests first. Batman isn't around, so who can we turn to? Well, it's certainly not Washington, D.C. Comedian Dennis Miller once said that Washington, D.C. is to lying what Wisconsin is to cheese. And he's not wrong. And the main thing Washington lies about is money. They'll beg, borrow, or steal to help themselves, using any inside information they can, while you're a day late and a dollar short. And the war in Ukraine is no different. Vladimir Putin was building up troops along the Ukraine border for months. Washington knew it. Biden knew it. There were briefings. The satellite images got passed around Congress. The sanctions talk was swirling.
I've made it absolutely clear to President Putin, it's the last thing I'll say, that if he moves on Ukraine, the economic consequences for his economy are going to be devastating. Devastating.
This invasion was brewing for months, and Washington was assembling the economic sanctions packages behind closed doors. They knew this would impact the global economy and you directly. So you would figure that Congress, elected to represent our interests, would do something ahead of time to warn us and protect us against what was coming. Guard Americans from the economic turmoil. Maybe they'd take early action to cushion us from economic warfare. Get ahead of the energy crisis. Brace us for the commodity spikes and warn us about the supply chain fallout. Sounds reasonable, right? Well, it's not how D.C. works. Instead, it looks like Congress saw this as a gold rush. They knew what sanctions could be coming down, and all they had, dollar signs in their eyes. Members from both sides of the political aisle poured money into the market, buying up defense stocks, energy stocks. So as Ukraine burned to the ground, Congress got rich. It starts with Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the former chair of the Democrat Party. In late January, more than a month before the invasion, Wasserman Schultz purchased up to $45,000 worth of Patterson UTI energy stock. What do? The company drills for oil and gas. Drill, Debbie, drill. And it's shot through the roof since then, jumping nearly 60% in value since she bought it. She sits on the Energy and National Security subcommittees, too, is buying up energy stocks, while national security situation here is looming. She didn't buy any windmill stock. That's so weird. Funny, because Biden was predicting energy prices were going down at the time. Maybe she knew something we didn't. And unfortunately, she's not alone. Then we have Lois Frankel, another Democrat sitting on the energy subcommittee. She snatched up two energy stocks in early January, Hess and Diamondback Energy, which have both jumped nearly 10% since. It's so funny because Frankel's a member of the Progressive Caucus, which backs the Green New Deal. And she's buying fossil fuel companies in the run-up to a war. This is what we're dealing with. But it's not just in the House. The Senate is getting in on the war profiteering trades, too. Tommy Tuberville, who sits on the Armed Services Committee, which you figure might know a thing or two about potential war sanctions, snagged up to $15,000 worth of Chevron and another $50,000 worth of Duke Energy. Over a month before the invasion, looks like Tommy was pretty clued in that Russia was going in. Or maybe Tommy was just reading the tea leaves. And it's not just energy. Senator Thomas Carper of Delaware, he bought up shares in the world's largest producer of fertilizer materials. And Russia and Belarus happen to be the two largest exporters of fertilizer. And it just so happens that Carper's already up 40% on the January investment. We've been going after Congress for the appearance of insider trading since the start of this show. We targeted Pelosi and, her perfect timing, that golden touch she has. And this situation's no different. It doesn't matter what party you belong to. The role of the People's House is to protect us, not members of Congress. We reached out to each member's office for comment, and one got back to us. Senator Carper's office, telling us his investments are handled by independent financial advisors. Independent. Wow. So maybe the senator's financial advisor knew there was going to be a war in Ukraine, too. Smart guy. But it's a sad reality, what's happening in our nation's capital. And there's a lot more where this all came from. And we're going to be reporting on this suspicious congressional stock trading in the run-up to the Ukraine war next week, too. So ride with Primetime. Congress wasn't warning us about high gas prices and fertilizer and food shortages in January. What was Congress doing in January? Oh, yeah. They were mourning January 6th. And then the rest of the January, they just scolded us to wear a mask. But behind the scenes, they were plotting to profit off war. Time and time again, members of Congress chose to put themselves ahead of the American people. Even after, you ready, raking in a record amount of tax revenue. According to reports, the federal government collected over $1.8 trillion in total taxes through the first 5 months of fiscal year 2022. New record. So where did it go? Congress is just wasting it on pork, fraud, and abuse. They're spending money to defend another nation's borders, not ours. Keep other nations' streets safe, not ours. And helping other countries produce more energy, not ours. You would think that at least they'd give us back some of the cash. But there's no tax cut coming anytime soon. There's no inflation relief. There's no gas tax holiday. Instead, they're trying to spend billions more, just paying back their political donors and just driving up inflation higher and higher. Your money down the drain, while they call their financial advisor and make it rain. Now it's the people of Ukraine who are being taken advantage of. The world sees suffering, but Congress, they see dollar signs.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.